first award is our player of the season so far.
Right.
We have nominees. Now, you might disagree with some of the nominees. By all means, say, someone's missing. But you have to obviously pick one from the following. The nominees for the player of the season so far are James Maddison, Douglas Luiz, or Mo Salah.
James Maddison. Do I need to give a reason?
I think it's quite nice to give us a reason.
Well, I just think, getting Tottenham to the top of the league, and OK, they're not there now, but he was sensational with his assists and goals that enabled Spurs to not miss one of the great centre-forwards in world football, Harry Kane. I think Maddison's performance have excelled.
Is there anyone that we're missing, do you think?
Well, Mo Salah would have been close. Szoboszlai Liverpool would have been close. He's played really well. Who would I go? Villa, John McGinn has been brilliant for them. And a number of others. Ollie Watkins done brilliant for them as well. You go through the teams, and there's some really good performances. Declan Rice has done really good. He's settled really quickly since he left West Ham to go to Arsenal.
Indeed, yeah. But your winner of the player of the season so far, James Maddison. This is one perhaps someone won't want to win, but it's the nomination for the biggest flop of the season so far.
It's a bit harsh.
It is harsh. I don't like doing harsh ones, but we've been asked to do it. VAR is one of the nominees. The promoted teams in general.
Yeah.
Or you could pick out a player. And I know Anthony, for example, has come in for a lot of stick. He's one of the nominees.
Yeah, he's been hugely disappointing. From a player that's been in the Premier League for a year and not seemingly improved from where he was last year, I would probably go Anthony. VAR has just been everywhere and all over the place, and it feels like it's something that's far deeper, bigger problem. But I'm going to go on the playing field. I'm going to go Anthony because Man United need him to be a really big star for them. Paid a lot of money, £80 million for him. He's not lived up to that in any shape or form.
Okay. What about your manager of the season so far? Again, there'll be some fans listening in right now who'll be aggrieved that their own boss perhaps is not nominated, but these are the three that have been selected. Ange Postecoglou of Spurs, Unai Emery of Villa, and Liverpool's Jurgen Klopp.
Well, I would definitely look at Postecoglou has done incredibly well, but I'm going to go more for Unai Emery because I think I'll be proven right that Villa will finish above Spurs by the end of the season and make the Champions League spot.
Really? Now, why?
Villa,
what's giving you such confidence?
They've got a really good team. Really good team. Love the way they're set up. Will they go in the transfer market in Jan to improve on what they've already got? I like a lot of their players. I like the way their fullbacks are, from Digne to Matty Cash, are used. Got a really strong midfield, Douglas Luiz, and obviously John McGinn. Ramsey could be back soon, the young lad. And the forward line picks itself pace and power. I think they will finish above Spurs, and that will be an extraordinary achievement if they make Champions League football, which I think they will, Villa.
That is quite a shout.
Yes.
But certainly Villa going very well currently. What about your signing of the season so far? Now, of course, James Maddison could have featured in this, but we're trying to go down the route of you can't win an award twice in this particular round of Tony Awards. So the nominees, West Ham's James Ward-Prowse. You've got Liverpool's Dominic Szoboszlai, as you mentioned, and also Arsenal's Declan Rice.
I'll probably go for Szoboszlai at Liverpool. There's a bit of bias in there, obviously, but I do think they've got way more than they thought they'd got. I think they knew he was a really good attacking midfielder with bundles of pace. I think he's really arrived at Liverpool and set a new standard. Remember, that whole midfield was dismantled. And Liverpool needed to rebuild, and I thought he's come in and he's looked from the very first game that he's going to be a hell of a player for Liverpool over the next 5 or 6 years.
And it helps, I say helps, but it's also hugely impressive that he's just been able to slot into a league that he's not played in. Obviously, we know with Ward-Prowse and Rice, they have already played in the Premier League, so they knew what they were going to encounter. Very different for Szoboszlai, but it doesn't feel as though he's been held back in any way. Like you say, he's been very impressive for Liverpool. And our last award of the season so far, Cass, is the surprise of the season. So, could it be Wolves and the form that they've been under Gary O'Neill? Could it be Aston Villa and their form? I know we've already touched on Unai Emery, but there's another reason why I'm bringing them up as well, which I think is interesting. Maybe a bit biased, but Brian and Burmo? Could he be a surprise of the season?
I'm going to go for purely because I just talked about midfields being dismantled, and Wolves had lost Moutinho and Neves, and I'm really surprised, and I think they could easily have 4 more points than they've got at the moment. And Gary O'Neill's put a really good team together. Love the partnership of Kilman and Craig Dawson. I think that really works well. They would be my surprise, because I didn't think that mid-table they'd be there. I thought they'd be hovering above relegation at best.
Well, as we mentioned yesterday, I think many, I should say.
And the way they play.
Yeah, well, many thought they would be a team perhaps in the relegation picture, partly because of the way that Lopetegui left, and he left with the suggestions that they financially weren't able to kind of back him in the market. Gary O'Neill came in very late, so it was quite difficult for him to adjust to life at Wolves. But my goodness, they seem to have got underway very well under Gary O'Neill. The reason I mentioned Aston Villa, by the way, and I know you already said it and gave them credit and think they'll finish in the Champions League, but what's also really impressive about them is the way they've handled Europe as well as their Premier League.
Well, he's an experienced campaigner, isn't he? And really knows his way around navigating his team around Europe and Premier League football or domestic football. He does that brilliantly well. And Villa have got a hell of a good manager there.
Yeah, certainly so. Thank you very much to all the nominees, and congratulations, of course, to all our winners. This has been the very first Tony Awards with our very own Tony Cascarino. Congratulations, Tony Award winners, given out by Tony Cascarino. Just to confirm, it's a Tony given out by a Tony, and we're going to continue to do the Tony Awards because we like to say Tony a few times.